Welcome to the class. In the last video, we have read up to the question which was asked by Margie to Tommy, that why would anyone write about a school, because she isn't finding anything interesting that one should be so intended to write about schools. So now Tommy is telling her. Tommy looked at her with very superior eyes, because it's not a kind of school, stupid. This is the old kind of school that they had hundred of years ago. So now Tommy tells her that it's not the school in which we are studying, the mechanical era. Rather, it's a school which existed hundred years ago. It's not a time that is nearby to our era. It's a very old, long back incident when the old school used to exist. So that is why the emphasis is made on the phrase centuries ago, not just 1 or 2 years back. Rather, it's about a time period that was hundred years back. Maggie was hurt. Well, I don't know what kind of school they had all that time ago. She read the book over his shoulder for a while, then said, anyway, they had a teacher. Sure, they had a teacher, but it wasn't a regular teacher. It was a man. A man? How could a man be a teacher? Well, he just told the boys and girls things and gave them homework and asked them questions. Now, next, they talk about the teacher. Now, Tommy tells that they had a teacher, but it wasn't a regular teacher like we are having at our places, AI teacher. Rather, it was a man. So, Margie gets doubtful about the fact and says, how can a man be a teacher? Because a human being is not as smart as AI. So, she feels skeptical about this notion and she tells Tommy that how a man can be a teacher. She is not ready to accept the fact. So Tommy tells her that yes, at that time a man used to be a teacher and he used to tell the students, impart knowledge to the students, and on the basis of that knowledge he used to ask them questions, he used to give them homework. So the whole sole responsible person for taking the responsibility of the entire education was their teacher. That was a human being. A man isn't smart enough. Sure, he is. My father knows as much as my teacher. He knows almost as much. I betcha. Betcha is an informal word used for I bet. So now Tommy says that no, it's not like that. The human beings are not as intelligent as AI. My father, being a human being, is as smart as AI. So it's most probable that the at the time human beings were the teachers and they were as smart as AI. Margie wasn't prepared to dispute that, so Margie was not ready to say anything against the statement given by Tommy. She said, I wouldn't want a strange man in my house to teach me. Next, she tells her opinion that I will never accept a stranger to come to my place and teach me. So now Tommy corrects her and says that you know nothing about the facts. At that time, the teachers were not living in the house. Like our AI teacher is living with us. In that time, the human being teachers were not living with the students. They had a special building and all the kids went there. And all the kids learned the same thing. Sure, if they were the same age. Next thing he tells Margie is that the teacher of that era was not a regular teacher. They never stayed at the student's house. Rather, there was a special building which we call as school, and there the students used to go get assembled together of the same age. They used to sit together belonging to the same class, and the teacher used to come to their class, teach them the same thing if they are belonging to the same age and the same class, not like us where we are taught individually by the AI teacher. So in that time, this is again a difference shown that in the virtual classrooms, the students are taught individually by the mechanical teacher, and in the old time, the students belonging to the same age is being taught by the same teacher, and the same topic is taught to all the students at a single time. But my mother says a teacher has to be adjusted to fit the mind of each boy and girl it teaches, and that each kid has to be taught differently. Now, again, she has an argument. She says that no, according to my mother, the teacher has to be very specific for every student, because every student has a different set of mind. So, the teacher has to teach them individually so that it can be understood by the students, whatever the teacher is imparting the knowledge to them. So Tommy says that no, in that time this wasn't happening. In that time only there was a single teacher, and of the same age group students, they used to teach them the same things. I didn't, just the same day, they didn't do it the way then. If you don't like it, you don't have to read the book. Now, Tommy is getting pissed off with her questioning weird questions. So he says that if you're not finding the things interesting, then why are you reading the book? You should stop reading the book. Margie said quickly, I didn't say I didn't like it. So Margie senses and feels that Tommy is getting somewhat irritated. So she repeats, no, no, I want to read the book because I want to know about the funny facts mentioned in this book about those old schools. They weren't even half finished when Margie's mother called Margie school. Margie looked up. Not yet, Mama. So, as they were just reading the books, now they were just half finished when Margie's mother called Margie for the school. She looks up at the time and says, no, not yet. But her mother says that, yes, you have to be ready for the class because it's a time for your class. And even Tommy has to go for the class. So, Margie tells Tommy that after class, can we just sit together and read the book because I want to know more interesting fact about those old schools. Maybe, he said nonchalantly. He walked away whistling, the dusty old book tucked beneath his arm. So he says in a very casual way, okay, maybe we can sit together after school and we can read about this old school. And then he whistles, keeping the book beneath his arm. It's an old dusty book because it has been found from an attic in their storehouses, and as it is belonging to a very long era back, the book is dusty. It's not very fresh. It seems to be very old. So he takes the book beneath his arm and he walks away for his class. Margie went into the schoolroom, and the schoolroom was not at a distance. It was just the room next to her bedroom, and the mechanical teacher was on and waiting for her. Not in our time, when the students greet the teacher with a good morning and good afternoon wish. Rather, in their time, the teacher was waiting for the student, and Margie goes, and the teacher was all set and she was all ready to take the class. It was always on at the same time every day except Saturday and Sunday, because her mother said little girls learn better if they learned at regular hours. So here Margie tells that the classes were on the same time except Saturdays and Sundays, because according to Mrs. Jones, that is Margie's mother, if the students are taught at a regular hours, they tend to adapt the knowledge more easily. So she has to follow the same routine of being taught by the mechanical teacher. The timings were same except on Saturdays and Sundays the timings were quite different. The screen was lit up and it said today's arithmetic lesson is on the addition of proper fractions. So as they were not reading from the notebooks and the books, they were being taught from the computers. That is a mechanical era. So the topic displayed on the screen was arithmetic expressions, fractions of the arithmetic. It was a maths lesson, and the teacher was ready with the addition of proper fraction. And she asked Margie to insert yesterday's homework, which she has assigned to her a previous day. She asked Margie to submit the homework in the slot assigned to her. Margie did so with a sigh. She was thinking about the old schools they had when her grandfather's grandfather was a little boy. Now, although Margie was physically present in the class, but she was not interested in the lesson because she was just wondering of the old time when the students had so much fun when they used to go to the school to take the education, because she is not able to experience the fun they had experienced in their time. So she is just wondering about those old schools. All the kids from the whole neighborhood came laughing and shouting in the schoolyard, sitting together in the schoolroom, going home together. At the end of the day, they learned the same thing so they could help one another with the homework and talk about it. Then she wonders that it must have been so useful as they were taught the same things, and if one student has been absent for some or the other reason, the other friend would have been helping that student with the homework and they would have been able to talk about it. The topic must have been discussed by everyone, so that if any student is having problem in any topic, other students must have helped them that time. But now, as in their era they are taught individually, so they are not able to take the help of their friends even. So she is just wondering of all those incidents that used to happen in the old schools. They learned the same thing so they could help one another with the homework and talk about it, and the teachers were people. The more specific thing which she liked was Q's time pay. People used to be the teachers, not like AI teachers. As people, human beings are full of emotion, sensitivity, so they must have connected well with the emotions and the desires and the needs of the student, which is lacking in AI teacher, because AI teacher is a entrusted with set of instructions, with set of sets, and that is why they are not having those emotions and sensitivity which we find in the human beings. So the old teacher must have been nicely connected to the teachers, which the AI teacher is not able to do. When we add fraction 1 upon 2 and 1 upon 4, Margie was thinking about how the kids must have loved it in the old days. She was thinking about the fun they had. Written by Isaac Asimov. So she was physically present, but her mind was just wandering in those old times when the students from different background, different colonies, different localities used to assemble together, enjoy together, take lessons together, and after a day's work was done, they all used to go back to their places. So she was just wondering about the fun they had in their old school, which Margie and Tommy are not able to experience in their new mechanical era school. So this was a story where the contrast has been made between the old school and the new school. Old school, like the school in which we are studying right now, where you all go to study, and the new era, that is the time period of 2157, when the teachers have been replaced by the AI teacher. So I hope the chapter is clear. In the next video, I will try to give you the notes so that you can just prepare them, and you will be very easily answering all the questions that will be asked in your upcoming exams. So thank you for the class. See you in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.